Congressman Castro is a Democrat from Texas, and he joins me here in studio. It's great to see you, sir, in person in New York, so thanks for being here. But the fight is getting really ugly when it comes to the conversation over immigration policy reform. And it is a conversation that as a country we need to have. But how is Donald Trump making this a much more difficult conversation to have with rational minds at the table?
Right. Well, you're exactly right. He's done two things. He's opened a Pandora's box for Republican candidates because Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush, even though I'm glad that they've spoken out now, it took them almost 3 weeks to say anything against Donald Trump. That was after Macy's and NBC and NASCAR all had come out against Donald Trump's comments. The second thing is that he's made it harder to have a real conversation about immigration reform that is based on facts and not based on pure raw emotion. What happened in San Francisco is a tragedy. And obviously something went wrong with the immigration system, but also with the justice system. But there isn't a single person over the last several years who has stood up and said that we ought to allow somebody with 7 felonies to stay in this country. And furthermore, you also shouldn't generalize from one person's actions and imply that all immigrants are exactly the same.
So just to explain for all of our viewers, there is a murder case in San Francisco, and a man who was deported 5 times is accused of killing this woman while she was on a walk with her dad. So how does this really set back the pro-immigration conversation? Obviously, it needs to be had. We need to update the social contract that we have in this country when it comes to that, but this does not expand the conversation.
You know, immigration, it's always been a thorny issue, and it's a tough issue. And when Donald Trump cites this case to imply that all immigrants from Mexico and other parts of Latin America are like that, it makes it tougher to make decisions, policy decisions, on rational facts rather than just this hyperbole and emotion.
Does he force everybody to come to the table, though, and discuss it because of the fact that he's being so rabid on certain issues?
Sure. No, I mean, I think he's forcing that discussion within the Republican Party and this American conversation. You think about in the media world that we live in now, this story has now outlasted the Confederate flag story, the story on the Obamacare decision, and even the ruling on marriage equality. Usually a story will last a few days and then die. This really speaks to the name identification that Donald Trump has in America.
Well, he seems to throw fresh wood on the fire every chance he gets currently. But we have, from your home state, Senator Ted Cruz talking about Donald Trump and the comments that he made. And I want to get your take on his response to this. It was from Meet the Press. Take a listen.
I salute Donald Trump for focusing on the need to address illegal immigration. I salute Donald Trump for focusing on it. He has a colorful way of speaking. It's not the way I speak. But I'm not going to engage in the media's game of throwing rocks and attacking other Republicans. I'm just not going to do it.
So it's the media's game. He wants to salute Donald Trump. Do you think the long haul is that Ted Cruz is looking at this, that Donald Trump might flame out, and the people that like Donald Trump need somewhere to go?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll flow to Ted Cruz.
I mean, I think Ted Cruz's strategy is to appeal to the very hard right and hope that the country is very angry going into November of 2016 because he wins by dividing people, not uniting folks. And then the other thing is for him to say that he's not going to be involved in Republican on Republican violence. I think it's those kinds of disingenuous statements that really take away from the substance of his candidacy and his person.
It really is a substantial conversation that we need to have about our social contract, about immigration in this country, and hopefully we will have it. Congressman Castro, so nice to see you in person. I appreciate your time.